Today, we're diving into a few tips and tricks that help me build the Blair Line Yard Cafe kit. For this HO scale laser cut kit, I'm using number 11 blades and wood glue for most of the build. I'll pre-paint the parts based on the color suggestions from Blair Line for this project. I'll also use an emery board for most of the filing because of this soft wood. I will use canopy glue in spots where I need the glue to be crystal clear, such as adding the shades to the windows. I'll also use Aleene's tacky glue for some of the thinner parts, as it's a bit of a thicker glue than wood glue. The instructions did not include direction to paint the base. The base has both a sidewalk for the outside and the interior floor. If you're going to show off the interior floor, there are spots where up front where maybe you want to paint it. I didn't do that. You won't see much of that, even though you can remove the roof. But you will want to paint the sidewalk as well. I used a wash for the paints, so remember, this is very thin wood. You've got to make sure that you wet the bottom side if you're going to use a wash or even acrylic paints on the top of it, because it's going to warp, and it did warp because I forgot to do that on the bottom side and I had to get it set straight again. This kit uses the tab and slot method for assembly. This makes the kit great for beginners as everything will line up correctly for you. You can see that I missed a step that was not included in the instructions because I have a gap around most of the walls and the base. Make sure you do a little filing to the tabs to ensure that there's a snug fit in the slots. Blair Line's instructions are good. They use a letter and number system and provide some drawings to make it easy to know which parts go where. They include a full page of all the parts on their wood sprues with the letters and numbers along with suggested paint colors. I chose to follow the paint colors suggested by Blair Line because I had those on hand. Pro tip, paint everything while they're on the sprues, but when you cut them out, make sure to file the laser burn marks off of the edges and touch up paint those before gluing them in place. This kit uses the peel and stick method for windows, doors, trim, and other parts. You can use glue with the peel and stick parts, which I've used on previous projects, but I didn't need to do that on this Blair Line kit. The kit supplies paper strips to simulate texture roofing. I've done tar paper roofs before, so I painted the strips black and applied them with a small overlap. I then used a Pasha paint marker to simulate tar around the two structures to show the roof is sealed. I then used weathering powders in 2 steps, adding alcohol after each weathering to seal the powder in place and give it a dirty look. You could also use a paint marker or just a plain black marker and run it along the seams of the tar paper to also simulate this tar paper seal. That I didn't do in this build, but you can do that and it looks pretty authentic. Now let's shed some light on the scene. I like to continually try new things. I've added lighting to structures in the past and am comfortable with electrical on my layout. Even so, many people have sung the praises of the Woodland Scenics Just Plug lighting system for ease of its setup. So I told myself once again, just jump in. The lighting system has many parts and they are all sold separately. I bought the 2 main parts to get started. I got the wall wart for power, but they also have a battery option available. I got the main light hub, and I chose to get the one that cost just $2 more because it came with 2 stick-on LEDs pre-wired. That's a little savings over buying the lights separately. Now you can buy lights and accessories, even pre-wired cars and trucks. There are lighting options for street lights, traffic lights, signals, floodlights, interior and exterior building lights, etc. You can light up to 80 items on your layout with this expandable system. Expensive is a relative term, and you will need to determine if this is affordable for you, but it's super simple and can help those willing to pay for the convenience. Since I am comfortable with wiring, soldering, etc., I likely will not expand what I have, but I could certainly use the 2 additional slots on the hub for 2 more lights. I would like to find the proper male female connectors online that Woodland Scenics use because they don't sell them separately. If I could find the right ones, I might use the system a bit more. I wanted to spend some time on this to show you how easy it is to use the Just Plug system and show you the flexibility so not all your lights have to be on the same brightness or on all the time. The kit comes with paper advertising signs, paper interior detail, and wood signs and lettering. This is where I can improve my skills. When I cut out the peel and stick interior details, I ripped off the bottom left corner. Although it's hard to see inside unless you take the roof off, I did add a few generic pieces and glued them in front of the ripped area. Be cautious with the provided lettering, which is designed to be attached as relief, giving it depth and texture. While they are wood, they are very delicate. As you can see, one of the C's broke off and I left it as weathered. I also broke a couple of the front raised sign, and it took 3 attempts to get them to stay again. To enhance the overall look, I used weathering pencils for rust on metal structures like the security gates, doors, and windows. The walls got a weathering treatment with powders, adding layers for a more realistic effect. As a final touch, I experimented with a bit of graffiti using paint markers for a touch of urban authenticity. And there you have it. The Blair Line Yard Cafe kit comes together beautifully. If you're a beginner, I highly recommend just jump in and give it a try. Happy modeling.